This is Eric Rutan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
G'day everybody, hope you're well. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode, which features a chat with Ruyter Suys from Nashville Pussy. The compelling event for the conversation is due to an Australian tour occurring in December 2022 by the group, eagerly anticipated, and you can hear me bust her chops up top about not coming up to Brisbane. She receives it in good humour though. She's got a great sense of humour, I've got to say. In this chat here, it'd be easier for me to talk about the things that we don't mention. This is one of those expansive conversations that just goes wherever it goes, so I'm going to leave most of the content as a surprise for you. Something I must mention though is the internet connection was absolutely potato though, so you will hear it drop out and reconnect, and the bits of garbled conversation that come through. I've just left it all intact though, because it's too hard to do heavy editing on that sort of stuff and still for it to be, it doesn't make it more coherent, put it that way. Now, I have selected a tune for your listening pleasure. I went to Spotify, found what I believe is the most downloaded or streamed track by the group, Nashville Pussy. This one's titled Come On, Come On. It's lifted from an album titled 10 Years of Pussy. We'll play that. Once it's done, you'll hear the conversation. Of course, you people on YouTube, you know the drill. I can't play music, so we're going to dive into the chat right now. Either way, let's go.
Baby woke me up this morning. She said, "Hey man, we are through."
Here she is. How are you?
I'm swell. How the fuck are you?
I tell you what, bloody Zoom. I tell you what, I'd give it a bit of a fisticuff these days. They've changed their algorithm now. So I used to use this common link, and it worked for years. And now they've switched it up in the last few weeks, and it's causing all sorts of havoc. So I'm glad we can finally catch up, regardless.
Yeah, and I totally fucked up yesterday. So that was all me. That one's no algorithm. That's my rhythm.
No, that's all good. How you been otherwise? You're getting ready for this tour, aren't you?
Yeah, getting geared up. I'm starting to feel it's getting exciting. So it's been the calm before the storm prior to now. But now that we've done a shit ton of fucking interviews, it's like, it's real. It's like,
yeah, it's all happening. I was going to ask you that. I mean, you guys have been doing it as long as anybody. Is it still exciting, the whole idea of going across the world and playing to people you don't know, this sort of thing?
It's not until you fucking do it. It's like the fact that we've done it before is just kind of like we can be a little blasé about it. But then as soon as you step off the plane, actually pretty much as soon as you get on the plane, it's like, oh yeah. It's like, this is going to be great. Like, I'm getting excited because up until now, I've just been kind of like, oh God, 22-hour fucking plane trip, 4 years in the making. Like, I just want to get it over with. But now I'm starting to get excited. Now people are saying, oh, what's it going to be like there? And I start reliving old times and describing kangaroos. People are like, oh, and then I'm getting excited. So yeah.
Hey, I'm sure you've been hit up about this before, but is there a reason why you couldn't come to Brisbane and Perth?
Man, it's evidently it's because the city is booked. Like Perth has always been difficult just because the distance and I guess I don't know if there's enough of I don't know if we have enough of a crowd there. We've never played there, so we have no idea. So there was originally on the schedule, and we were so excited because obviously we want to go there. And to see it off was a massive disappointment. And I mean, we were begging for Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, Brisbane, especially for since we've been renegotiating all these gigs, and like. Yeah, we're very disappointed, and boy, we ever see it on fucking Facebook. It's like everyone is like, "What happened to Brisbane?"
Look, Queensland
we have friends there, so it's.
I mean, you guys are custom built for Queensland, which is the state that Brisbane's in, and to not play is. I mean, there's a Coolangatta hotel. There's got to be a reason. I get it, but it's just disappointing, to be honest, because I can't see it.
I heard that because so many bands are just coming back all at the same time that there's massive competition and all the clubs are full. But honestly, if there's enough of a groundswell amongst the people, maybe we can have our flight changed and we can have another fucking show.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. I'll certainly.
I would do it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't know. These things are fairly locked in, aren't they, just because you're travelling so far? But look, I'll certainly give the feedback, especially if you've been hit up online. The fans are saying that they want you to come up.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, I know. It's just like, that's the thing I hear the most. I mean, it's equal parts yay to why aren't you coming to Brisbane? It's fucking holy shit, man. Really? 50-50? Fuck. We've had some very good times in that.
I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine that would be the case.
We had a really good. We had a fantastic weekend in about 10 hours there one time. Or spent a month there one day.
Yeah. Hey, random thought. I've just thought of this question now, but have you and Phil Anselmo ever sort of connected and thought about doing a bit of a tour?
We've connected. We know each other, but we've never discussed that. No.
Oh,
is this something we should do?
Oh, I think so. In the illegals, yeah, with his illegals setup though, because he plays some Pantera stuff and that, but he's got some pretty gnarly stuff and that. And I saw, I don't know Phil, but I've spoken to him in the course of doing this, and Saw him at the Back Room, which is a suburban venue here, and I was just thinking, you guys together as a 1-2 punch in that venue. If that could ever happen in the future, man, oh wow, that would repay all the people who can't see you this time around. You know that? Just planting the seed.
I'll plant a bug in his ear, man. Our cousin actually works for him and is his right-hand man. He had our cousin is an electronics genius. He was our guitar tech for many years, and he got stolen away. Well, he got stolen away by a bunch of people. Got paid a lot more than we could pay him. But recently, he was hired to take care of Phil's Halloween display. He has all these animatronic monsters and shit in his yard, and cousin Adam was the one who had to go down there and tweak them all. He had to go down there and make sure that they all, fucking moved. I'm scared. It was fucking funny, man, because he was supposed to come see our show. Adam, you coming to our show? He's like, I gotta go to Phil's and fix his monsters.
Yeah, he's right into that, isn't he? Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
he's very into.
Yeah, I mean, look, but that just hints at something that you've got all of these connections all over the world, not just Phil, but all over the world. You know all these people, and you were writing about it in a blog, and up until 2015, you were sharing these sorts of stories. So, are you planning to return to the blog?
I don't know, man. Maybe. I don't know. There's so many different venues of expression now. Mostly, I just talk shit on Facebook. That's like kind of my venting. Because back then it was like nobody communicated on, it was MySpace, it was like nobody communicated on Facebook. And now it's like, maybe I should, I don't know. Maybe I've got more perspective now and I can do it again. That's cool that you saw it though, my rambling with Ruyter.
Yeah, I used to read it. Yeah, I like keeping up with what you were talking about, but it hints at something even bigger, which is that I think you need to write a book.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Wow. Okay, now you're really kissing my ass. Jesus Christ.
I'm not trying, believe me. I just think I just think you're one of those people out there that's a character and you've got a story to tell.
If I get the right, when I have the right person, like who wants to hear it, I can spin a fucking yarn,
Spin a yarn. I love it. That's what we say. Yeah.
I have to be in the right perspective, but it might only take like a shot of whiskey and then fucking Mark Twain.
And the only thing I'd ask you to do, make it as not safe for work as possible. Like, just don't tone anything down. Just give us it all. Make Motley Crue's The Dirt look like a fucking lullaby, a fairy tale.
Yeah, those guys are a bunch of pussies.
That they are. Yeah, I know. I don't disagree with you on that point there. Yeah. Have you crossed paths with them very much over the years?
Fuck no, man. I don't know shit about those guys other than what I see on TV. It's like the closest connection we have from them is that we're both signed by the same guy. Like Tom Zutaut is the one who signed them and signed us.
Oh, wow.
And so he was like the golden boy. He would sign, he's so Motley Crue, Roses, Nashville Pussy, right? And like, so through everything he touched for a little while went turned to gold. And he was even in the movie. He was in The Dirt. He was played by that actor who's banging Kim Kardashian now. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
Pete,
yeah.
Something. Pete Davidson. That guy.
Davidson, yep.
Yeah. So Tom was played by that dude. And I mean, it was fun to watch him on the show, but we've never, I don't think we've ever had any. I'm not a Motley Crue fan. So if not, made a point to, maybe we have crossed paths, but I wouldn't go out of my way for it. Like, I don't think I would cross the street to meet.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. I've done almost 700 of these interviews, and I don't think I'd want to speak to Nikki, Tommy, or Vince. I just don't think it'd be that interesting as they self-promote.
There's that, our current drummer, Dusty Watson, is, he used to play with Lita Ford back in the 80s. And he came home one day to find his girlfriend, Lita, blowing Nikki Sixx in their living room. So that's kind of like knowing him.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Nikki's a weird guy.
I think they had
Oh, really? Yeah.
Dusty tells some stories, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's safe for work.
Oh, well, almost. God, look, I just think they self-promote far too much, and God knows if they've kicked out Mick Mars or whether he's left at his own accord. I mean, you just don't know. They just seem to be about when it becomes about just purely about money, which it clearly is with those guys. I mean, their new material was fucking terrible anyway. But
yeah, I've never. Yeah, yeah.
I can see the charm with the older stuff. You know what I mean? You can.
I really enjoyed The Dirt. I thought The Dirt was fucking hilarious, but I think I liked it because I don't give a shit about the band at all. It was just like comedy. It was just comic, antics on the road. It was funny. I thought the whole thing was funny, and that was it. But the people I do know who like Motley Crue didn't like that movie. They were like, it didn't do him justice. And I was like, I think it helped if you didn't care about him.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I thought it was funny.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about you guys, about Nashville Pussy?
I guess maybe that we are crazy hardcore partiers, and probably people think that we're speed freaks and alcoholics and stuff like that. Maybe, or maybe that that our lyrics are stupid. these are
really?
Misconceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, if you don't know us and you've never seen us, there's another thing. Yeah, I guess if you've never seen us, you might think that we're exploitative, but we're actually more like I think more like Pam Grier as far as being like empowered. I think people might maybe have that misconception that our sexuality is forefront, is what we're here all about. But really, we're just like the spirit of rock and roll, and we happen to have a couple chicks in the band also. It's like, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Makes complete sense. I mean, you can tell I'm a muso. You can't play drunk. We know that. It just doesn't happen. It's fun at the time, at times, for occasions, but as soon as you get sort of overly tipsy, it does just all falls apart, as you well know.
Yes. We've lost band members to their inability to be able to handle their, if there's anything we learned from fucking Motorhead, it's how to party and how to rock, how to do both, and how to not let one get in the way, interfere with the other, and how to do them equally, with equal enthusiasm. Like I've said out loud before that, Lemmy taught us how to do drugs. And that's like, the short version of it. But really, honestly, those guys, they put us through the tests, and they would make fun of us if we were hungover the next day, and they would point and laugh if we had a hangover or if we were having any problem fucking playing. And we'd be saying, well, it's your fault because you gave me that. And it's like, no, it's your fault because you said yes. And it was like, oh, they're teaching us a fucking lesson, motherfuckers. Like, they really did. They taught us how to party as hard as we play and be responsible for your own fucking actions. Like, it was a strange thing that we learned from Motorhead, but we did, because they would have another shot, have another shot, have another shot, have a line, have another shot, have another line, have another line. And you want to try this, try that, and you're just an idiot. You're just going, yes, 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 yes. And then the next day you're like fucking dead. And then they laugh at you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. Were you close to Lemmy or Phil?
We are still close with both. Lemmy and Blaine used to text quite often about music more than anything. They would send each other songs and stuff, and it's still kind of hard to swallow that we can't text the guy anymore. And then Phil, of course, has his own new life that he's doing with his kids, which is great. But him and I used to be really close. We spent a lot of time together. We're cut from the same cloth. Like the world that owns tap shoes is Phil Campbell, me and him, because we're both prone to be very fucking annoying. when given the opportunity. He'd bring tap shoes on tour, and I've been threatening to bring mine.
Nice. That's lovely. That I could see you guys occupy the same, when I say spiritual trajectory, you know what I'm saying? You're connected to the same life force.
Yeah. And I didn't know that until we went on tour together. Like, I always hoped that we had that affinity with someone as amazing as Motorhead, whom I've loved since high school. But when I was in college, I wrote for my university paper, and I wrote a really disparaging article about Phil. And I actually read it. I came across it just the other day, and I was like, man, I was a little fucking bitch. Like, because all I was doing was reiterating what everyone else was saying at the time, which was like, oh, we love Fast Eddie Clark, yep, and Wurzel's the rocker, and Phil is just why we don't even know what Phil's there for. You know, it was everything everybody was saying. And I just felt like when I read, I didn't even read the whole thing. I was so embarrassed because I know I did it at the time. And I even admitted this to Phil. I was like, man, I wrote a really when I was like 20, and I feel really bad about it. He's like, nobody probably read it anyways. And I was like, well, you're fucking right. Like, nobody read it, but I feel bad about having done it. And, you know, it wasn't even my own voice, you know, I was just copying what I'd heard other people say about him. And I feel really bad about it. I feel terrible about it. It was well written, but, you know, people don't
nice. I get the impression people underestimate you because you are an academic. You have the qualifications to call yourself an academic.
I do have my bachelor's, and I did graduate cum loudly, as I like to say, but 3 colleges. The second from top score out of I don't know what it was, but I cared so fucking much about it that I didn't even know until my mother received the diploma in the mail, because I never went to any of my graduating ceremonies. I never went to any year-end ceremonies. I just didn't give a shit about any of that shit. And when, graduation ceremony, I definitely did not go. They said, what do you want done with your diploma? And I said, mail it to my mother. And my mom's like, you graduated at the top of your class? And I was like, did I? Like I had no fucking clue. So yay. And then I took that degree, promptly became a guitar player.
Gotcha. Yeah. Do you get back home very much? Back to Canada very often?
Maybe once every 2 years we get to go. Yeah. Maybe it's somewhat the rock and roll scene, just like almost everywhere in North America, has shrunk, whereas it's grown in Europe. So, you know, we go where we're wanted, basically, which is Europe. Like, Europe is we could go twice a year if we wanted to. We could probably go 3 times if we wanted to, like extensive tours. There's still plenty of places we haven't been. And they just, there's no end of the touring over there. Whereas Canada is more of a labor of love. You want to go when the weather's good. You know, I don't know what else makes a good tour. Canada's good, but it wasn't great. You know, it was like, I love being there because it's my fucking country, but it's like I miss the food, I miss the people, I miss the weather. But yeah, the rock and roll scene's not as good as it used to be for us, at least. Maybe there'll be a resurgence. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you find, is Great Britain, England, your biggest territory?
No, fuck no, man. France is everything.
Wow.
We can play like 30 fucking shows in France. And in the UK, we can play London. You know.
What do you put that down to, the French connection, so to speak?
But I think they're really comfortable with women in a position of power. I don't know. Like, they think they fought for it. We've been told this, that, you know, like you are the embodiment of what we worked so hard for in the 60s and the 70s. And they're just like, they just completely embrace, and they're not blinded by any kind of like language or sexuality. They just understand rock and roll for some reason. Maybe it's like maybe it's like how they were the first to like get the blues, you know, like, as opposed to America was like being all weird about, BB King or whoever, France was even more into Americana when Americans don't dig American music. Like France was like rolling out the red carpet for Miles Davis and making him go in the back door here in the States. I don't know. They have a really strong appreciation of American culture, which is I have to explain that to my American friends that France is where it's at. It's true.
Yeah. You're the first person I've spoken to on that topic. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They're the birthplace of postmodern philosophy, and they overthrew their monarchy hundreds of years ago. So there's that very flat, almost Marxist, well, it is a Marxist outlook. It's a socialist outlook that they've got. And I guess what you're talking about sort of gets wrapped up in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that we did have a press release or a press conference one time where the commentator, the translator said essentially that we are the embodiment of what he fought for when he was in university, and he was in his 50s at the time, and we were probably in our 30s. And it was like, you are what we wanted to have happen. And thank you. You're our product basically. And it was like, okay, then I will take that. Fantastic. They're ahead of the curve in that way, as far as accepting women and just embracing sexuality. They've always been a little more, laissez-faire, ménage à trois is French,
Yes.
You don't say it anyway.
Yes. What's je ne parle pas beaucoup de français? Do you speak a bit?
Un peu.
Un petit peu seulement?
Yeah. I usually remember it when I'm in Spain. And then when I leave Spain, I remember my Spanish. And then I remember my Italian when I get to Germany. And then it's I can basically say, do you have a light in every language?
Where's the bar and do you have a light?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys have got 6 live albums and you've got 8 studio albums. So surely the idea of recording a live album of all brand new tunes has been discussed.
It hasn't.
That'd be a good idea. That'd work for you guys.
A live album of brand new songs.
Precisely. Yes.
That's pretty interesting. I'm going to write that down. Live album.
You guys are one of the few bands with the fortitude to pull that off. And it makes sense, I believe, for you guys. That's
really interesting.
I'm glad it resonates because, there's very few bands that I believe could do that. You got to be a no bullshit rock and roll band. AC/DC could do it. Motorhead could have done it. You guys, you're the 3 bands off the top of my head that would be able to be you're that powerful that it would come across.
That way we could save time in the studio too.
100%.
Badass idea. That's really interesting. Yeah, I've never even thought about that. That's wild. I mean, I wrote it down. I put a big box around it. So thank you.
That's all right. No, fingers crossed it happens. Yeah. Fingers crossed it all occurs. But what about your take on music in general? Do you feel like you guys started about 25 or 30 years ago? I'm talking about when you broke, when you became part of the popular lexicon of rock and roll fans. But do you think, does it feel better now or was it better back then?
Well, obviously at the time we were a product of our time or fighting against it. And so, it was really fun to be, the next big thing for a little while. That part's great. But I think we're actually coming into our own in a strange way in that, at least in America, I think that people are starting to catch up with where we have been on this. We just did this tour in October. And the amount of young women in the crowd and just people who had never seen us before and were just fucking blown away. It was like we've been playing mostly to our fans. This time we were playing in front of a band from the 90s called the Toadies. And they had really big house. We were playing 1,500 people and they had never seen us before. And so every single night I met all these Nashville pussy virgins and they were like, holy fucking shit, you are fucking incredible. And then these little girls, like teenage girls, like some of the all ages shows, and they'd be in the front row with this look on their face like, oh my God, I can't believe you exist. And I understand every fucking thing you're doing. And they were just right with me every step of the way. They were like, they had no problem with my shaking my fucking ass, and they had no problem with me kicking some fucking dude in the face. They were just like, yeah, like they got it all. They got the sexuality, they got the fucking anger, they got the joy, they got the passion. They were just right there with me. It was like fucking mind meld. And it was so cool to see all these young people like getting it. And I've not seen that in the United States before. So this is kind of, I feel almost like time is on our side as far as that goes. So that's exciting. Plus, I mean, like some of the music that's out these days is so fucking crazy that makes Nashville like the bar has been raised as far as like how crazy we can get with our lyrics. Like there's no limits.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that back in the day, was it? I distinctly recall when Let Them Eat Pussy was released in Australia, it came with a silver wrapper around it. Okay, so if you bought the CD, it had did it, I don't know, is the right way of framing it bug you, annoy you, what have you, that at the same time, say, gangster rap or urban music was all about street violence and overt street violence, by the way, but a woman couldn't be out there with her sexuality at that time?
Yeah, it was just ridiculously hypocritical. I was appalled by it. I mean, honestly, like whatever. I don't know what the hell world I came from, but to me, like Nashville Pussy just sounded like a funny thing. Like it was a funny name. And it just never even dawned on me that it wouldn't be on a marquee anywhere. Of course it's going to be in Carnegie Hall, like of course they're going to say it at the Grammys. And like, what kind of fucking idiot wouldn't say it? It's just a fucking band name. It's funny, and like, I had no idea that we were like, whatever, I guess we were destined to be in the future or something. like we had to wait for people to catch up, it just seemed to me like this was normal. Like,
I think it did for a lot of Australian fans. So you did catch on very quickly, Danny. You guys in the helicopters, I distinctly recall in that era, remember that, the late 90s, because rock and roll wasn't around back then, but you two came through and you really fucking cut through. And that was the image and everything. It was about just going to a gig, drinking, having a joint afterwards, this sort of thing. And even, I don't like Marilyn Manson, but I've got to give him credit. I remember the same era going to his concerts and it was like that, but it was all off the back of that fucking grunge shit, which is all too self-conscious, stare at the floor stuff.
It was a great. Come in, kitty. Come in. Get it.
No worries. Yeah, we've got a couple of them.
All right, and we're back.
All good. Do you follow politics at all? Does it interest you?
Oh, God, no. I fucking hate it. Which I think puts me in a great position because I'm not responsible for any of these jokers whatsoever. I'm with Lee when he said, don't vote. It only encourages them.
Yeah, that's so true. In the States, it is. In Canada, is it like Australia, you've got the Westminster system, which means that you're forced to vote, aren't you? It's compulsory.
You're not forced to vote. I don't think you're forced to vote.
Wow. Okay, so it's a elective, so to speak, elective election. There you go.
I don't know. That's a good question. Are you forced to vote? What is it? The Westminster?
Yeah,
what do they call it?
Yeah, Westminster system, which we have, the system of governance from the UK that we use in Australia and Canada, because the Canadian system and the Australian system is virtually the same. Got a constitution rather than a Bill of Rights.
Westminster system.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I've only been able to vote one time in my life. Canada is a parliamentary democracy. Its system of government holds the law as the supreme authority of law. It stems from the Westminster. Is it compulsory to?
It's interesting if it isn't, because it is for us, yeah. And it means people who wouldn't ordinarily become politicised do. But I can understand why we do have compulsory voting, given we've only got about 20 22 million of us, and of that, there's only, less than, I think it's something like half of the people are entitled to vote because of youth and people who come from overseas, that sort of thing.
But then, so how do you bow out of an election by ruining your vote?
Yeah, you can do donkey votes. Yeah, as long as you get your name ticked off at the electoral booth, you can basically draw dicks on the electoral ballot or whatever you want to do, which plenty of people do, by the way. But look, these days there are single issue parties. It's probably the same in the States and Canada, I suppose. But they're one of the biggest single issue parties. One of the ones that I really support is the mandate of removing the criminalisation of cannabis, use of cannabis. Now, I come at it from the medicinal perspective. I've got Crohn's, something mimicking Crohn's disease, and I can tell you how much it helps me. In conjunction, in union with traditional pharmaceuticals. Now, but a lot of people, like your average mum and dad and ma and pa kettle, won't buy marijuana. They just won't do it unless it comes from a dispensary. I think we've got to remove those obstacles. I mean, I don't know why it's not a bigger issue. But anyway,
it's happening quite quickly in the United States, and it's pretty impressive how like even just in Blaine's family. Blaine is from Kentucky, and Kentucky has traditionally been one of the largest suppliers of hemp since America was founded, and therefore also weed. And I do believe, I think it's just now, like in the last year, maybe they've finally made it like, I don't even think it's legal, but it's no longer illegal.
Yeah, it's decriminalized. Yeah. Yep.
And they're one of the last. Georgia is still, but there's still ways around it. It's like, it's such a gray area right now, but it's like, we've been waiting. Blaine pretty much almost always votes on no war and legalization of weed. Those are his go-tos. Those are his most important things, the ones that affect him the most in traveling around the world and traveling around America. And he'll definitely praise any state that's finally come around. But there's plenty that haven't, like where we live in Georgia. It's not fully legal. It's not completely decriminalized. They're still trying to figure out a way to like fine you if you're high, I think now for driving. But it's like, it was just embarrassing to see how long it took Kentucky to embrace the fact that not only historically have they been the supplier of America of this shit, but that they could be making a lot of money off it because it's a really poor state and they could actually take advantage of this. But we've seen it, in our time where Blaine's mom would be like, you're not smoking weed, to like, like she's like, she's interested, it's amazing. Like what? Like we can sit around and talk about edibles with our nieces and our mother. Like we never thought this time would come. So thanks for finally voting it in. Like,
yeah, no, it's been a hell of it's been quite a journey over the last 20 years. And look, you mentioned Blaine in there too. I've got to ask, look, I've been married for 12 years and I've been with my wife for about 15 or so, but you guys are well into your third decade into your partnership. So did you get asked a lot about what the secret to a lasting relationship is?
Well, there's nothing that don't go to bed angry. That's a real thing, man.
Yeah,
that's
agreed.
That's a really good thing. I don't know, giving each other space, really good. His back is really good. Like, I don't know, because not only that, we take it to the road where it's like, it's like life squared. It's exponential, the amount of time you spend together once you put wheels underneath it, and then stick it into a metal container with a bunch of other people. But definitely, I don't know. We encourage the shit out of each other, like whatever each other's passions are. I want him to be happy. He wants me to be happy. We've always been that way with each other. We're really encouraging of each other's, independence and all that. And I don't know, it works out really good. He's still my favorite person in the whole fucking world, Like he's awesome. In Kentucky, right? Just left this morning to go to Kentucky to play with 9 Pound Hammer and shoot a video. And he comes home Sunday night, and then we fly out Monday morning to come see you guys.
Oh, God. Busy, busy, busy.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, he's got more motivation than I do. I want to stay home. Play with a cat.
Yeah.
That's not a metaphor.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. All right, look, I'll make this my last question for you, okay? And I love asking people like you, people who've been in the business for this long, been a success, you've managed to do it. So many of us try, but you've actually done it. But if you could go back and give yourself some advice when you first started, like, you know, when you were leaving Canada, coming to the US, you know, you met Blaine, some of the things that you didn't know back then that you don't know, you know now, but you didn't know back then. What do you think you'd say to yourself? What advice would you give to yourself?
Well, I would definitely tell myself to accept that Gibson's size offered me in about 99, and I said I wasn't ready yet.
Well, yep.
I was really stupid. My dad was like, "What? You said no?" And I was like, "Man, this is my first. We've got one record out. Like, I don't know if this is the guitar that I'm going to be playing with in 2 years." And he's like, "You just take the guitar." But I said no to a signature model, which is like, what the fuck?
Oh my gosh. So, yeah. Oh, shit happens. It's not like
that's one piece of advice.
Well, that's a good bit of advice, that one right there. Yeah, that might be one of the best answers to that question I think I've ever got.
It's very, and it's pretty specific.
No, that's a good one. Yeah. Well, look, good luck with the tour. I know it'll go well. You know, you love down here. You got some very dedicated fans down here, as I'm sure you're aware. And fingers crossed that Brisbane thing comes off. But if it doesn't, just keep in mind the Phil thing, and hope that live album comes out too sometime.
Yeah, that's fucking brilliant, man. I've circled both those. That's fucking really cool. I appreciate that. I rarely get, it coming this way. It's usually just me spouting my nonsense that way. So that's very cool. And so you're in Brisbane. Are you coming down for Frankie's last final fucking blowout show in Sydney?
No, I'm from Sydney originally, funnily enough, but no, I've got kids and work and all the rest of it. I sometimes rare moments come to travel, but that is one show that I travel for. I just don't have the opportunity, unfortunately. And I think a lot of us are in the same boat. It's just December's a silly season. It's hard to travel. But no, I mean, the fact that that's really important, actually. So I'll make that point before we head off. But I don't think any other band could have closed out that venue except for you guys. Maybe you guys destroy 666 or something like that. But, the fact that it's you guys is just perfect.
That's fantastic. That's so cool. I mean, I have a feeling it's going to be like a tailgating party where everyone's going to be so trashed. By the time we hit the stage, they're going to be saying, "You guys were great."
Well, it's been
they'll be like, "Oh, you're legends."
It's been a bit of an institution, that place. I hope that they reopen and maybe not franchise it, but, they open in Brisbane or Gold Coast or something like that too. But the fact that it's you guys that are closing it out, man, I mean, it's going to be a fucking huge party. I mean, the hangovers are going to be legendary.
Yeah, that's why we actually asked for a day off after that, because we knew it was up. Like, it was like, we have to play. We do Frankie have our show, and then we have a day off. So it's going to be, it should be, we're going to have a fucking massive hangover, but that's what days off are for. And cuddling with that shit.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I'm going to miss it, but, good luck. Good luck for the show, and look for the rest of the career.
Maybe we can rally the troops and force a Brisbane show,
Yeah, I'll message John and say that you've gotten a lot of feedback on it too, and maybe you'll pass it on, because Hardline Media, I think, are bringing you guys down, isn't it? So, yeah. So the guys at Hardline, just to say, hey, look, if it can be swung, it's not like there isn't the willingness from within the band to sort of meet the fans.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. We're, god damn, like, it's, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like, now that there's fucking social media and people can directly contact. I mean, I know I don't have to write back, but I've been saying, Like, I'm sorry. Like, we're trying. Like, we asked so hard. Like, we begged, please, is there a possibility? Like, can we possibly well, where can we'll play anywhere. Like, we don't care. Just add a fucking day. Like, Brisbane has spoken. It's like, God damn. So if there's anything that can be done from that end, please, I'll keep bugging them. They know we're open to it. Like, we'll change our fucking tickets. Like, we're perfectly willing to do it. Like,
yeah, there's venues around. There's venues on the Gold Coast.
Believe
yeah.
me.
Yeah, I can tell.
I mean, the only argument I have.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, I just keep telling people it's like we are traveling 40 times as far to come see you guys as you are if you come to the Sydney show. Like, just bear in mind the perspective, pretend a little perspective here. Like, we've come a long ways. So the least you can do is come down to Sydney.
I totally understand that perspective too. Yeah, no, and you're quite right too. It's just it comes back to bringing the conversation full circle. You guys are perfect for our neck of the woods. Even more so than in Sydney, which is a big city, as like a global city. But Brisbane, it's still a bit. Queensland's like Florida. So it's got
I know,
that.
Man. I don't know if you heard me tell the story before, but like years ago, me and Blaine wound up doing ketamine down in Florida with an old friend of his from high school. I mean, this was 20 fucking years ago. And we did Special K for the first time. And we were like, holy fucking shit, this drug is insane. And the next, we're like, hey, you got any more of that K? He's like, oh, we don't do K anymore. Now we do G. And it's like, oh, fuck, I really like that K. And then we had never played Brisbane at that point. We've been told that Brisbane was 10 years behind the times. We get there, and what are they doing? Special K. And it was like, oh my God, I remember this stuff from 10 years ago. It was so fucking funny. I think Blaine and I, we just did like a little tiny bump. And I remember begging our band to go home. Like, it's too late. We've been here too long. We have to go back to the hotel. And so we went going back to the hotel and we sober up because you sober up really fast from that shit. And we looked at the clocks and it was like 11 p.m. Like, what the fuck do we do? So we went back to the bar. So that's what I meant when I said we spent a week there one night. We had a lot of fun.
The old K-hole.
Yes, we were in the K-hole. Yeah. I remember I left the bar wearing a fucking Dixie Chicks shirt. Like, somebody gave me a Dixie shit shirt. It said something really funny on it. I can't. Changing shirts in the bar, like, so much fun.
Oh, well, hopefully it's repeated.
So, but we never played Brisbane again. I've got. Yes, let's hope it's repeated. Oh my God. Yeah, I need a new Dixie Chick shirt.
Yeah, Dixie Chicks. They've got the chicks these days,
cool,
aren't they?
Thank you, man.
My pleasure.
Yeah, they're down on Dixie. Cool. Well, if we don't see you this time, we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Been a pleasure. I've been looking forward to this one. It's been great. God bless. No worries.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Chat to you. See ya. Bye. What a lovely free spirit she is. Enjoyed that conversation. I'm not going to call her a veteran because she's not old enough to be a veteran, but the point is, the people that have been doing the rock and metal thing for decades, man, they are by far and away my favourite conversations, and I hope you can tell. So that was a chat with Ruyter Suys from Nashville Pussy. Now, my name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast. If you want to listen to even more conversations like that, go across to scarsandguitars.com. Click on the podcast link and you'll be taken to a whole universe of conversations. If you like listening, perhaps you like reading, because I have written a book about the show titled Scars and Guitars Volume 1, Conversations from the World of Heavy Metal and Beyond. Click the link in the banner on the website. You'll be taken to a marketplace of your choice. Download a sample, and if you like it, please buy. And then hit me up, because I want to thank you personally. I've got some more to share with you about the book, but before I do, I'm going to bid you a fond farewell. I've already done my signature. Should I do it again? Why not? My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast. Until next time, it's a very goodbye for now.
This is Eric Rutan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew Mackay-Smith.
I've been the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast since 2017. The first musician I interviewed for the show was David Vincent from Morbid Angel, and things have just snowballed from there. In all, I've posted almost 650 podcast episodes featuring conversations with many of the leading lights of rock, heavy metal, and beyond. It just got to a point where I thought, I need to write a book about all this, so that's exactly what I did. In Scars and Guitars Volume 1, you'll read a heap of deep reveals and commentary, such as Des Fafara talking about Coal Chamber and why the band will never return.
You know, if you're a band just starting out, you need to hear me. Do not start a band with partners. Ever.
Yeah, wise words there. Sage advice, mate, for anybody.
Don't ever, because I can't go do Coal Chamber right now unless I get others involved.
Phil Anselmo talks about the episode in his career which gives him the greatest sense of accomplishment.
I think the staying power of the fans and the staying power of the songs, you know, whether it's Pantera, Down, or Superjoint, the fans remember the songs.
Alex Skolnick from Testament confirms that, yes, playing the guitar in Ozzy's band is anything but an ordinary gig. Will Silent Oz from Dimmu Borgir write a book? Pa from Sabaton gives advice to people who want to start a band.
Look at the team around you, look at the bandmates. If the guys want to be on the stage, then it's all cool. If the guys want to be backstage, then it's not going to be cool.
Current and former members of Cradle of Filth discuss the band's seminal 90s material. Read about the reaction to George Lynch and Mark from Suicide Silence's comments when they throw shade at then President Donald Trump.
We have this idiotic monster, you know, this egotistical, self-aggrandizing, complete piece of shit in there. I just can't understand how we've gotten to this place.
And yeah, we kicked a hornet's nest with Sepultura. Percussive overlord Gene Hoglan talks about recording with Chuck Schuldiner.
Chuck was always, he was very open-minded, and he was into having his musicians that were playing with him just reach out for the best stuff that they had.
Phil Campbell from Motorhead discusses what it takes to get sober. John Five answers his critics who dismiss his tenure with Marilyn Manson.
You know, my name is John Five, and Manson gave me that name, and I had some of the best years of my life in that band and learned a lot.
And we get the lowdown on Treyarch Zagtoth from those who would know, including his mother. All across Scars and Guitars Volume 1, there are moments of tension, relief, tragedy, exhilaration, and throughout it all, you'll obtain insight that I believe no one else has managed to obtain from many of your favourite artists. So treat yourself. Scars and Guitars Volume 1 is currently available as an ebook with a print edition on the horizon. Follow the links attached and download a sample. I'm sure you'll be compelled to read the whole book.